The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Whether you're new to sales or a lifetime veteran, the Blackbelt Sales Podcast will sharpen your sword and guide you to master the art of sales. And now, here's your host, the ninja himself, Gene Slade.
What's up, Don? Good to see you this morning. Where are you at?
Hey, I am up in South Carolina right now. Little trip.
Cool. What
Yep.
are you doing up there?
I'll be headed back on Thursday or Friday to Huntsville, hopefully to get to see my fiance if I can. But yeah, I just met some people up here and doing a little bit of talk. So having a good week, having a good
Awesome,
couple days. Yeah,
good stuff. So we were in our meeting this morning. Tuesdays and Thursdays are our meetings in the Lead Ninja Mastermind. And boy, were we seeing some successes, even regardless of how slow it seems to be for the HVAC guys in that group.
yes. Yeah. Slow is by definition, everybody has different call that or whatever, but slow is there's just stuff on the schedule, because if they'll just give you somewhere to go, there's a conversation to be had everywhere. And obviously, shout out to Luke, man, he made the most of an empty schedule. He just went to his installers and started a conversation. The installers were actually doing some move system around, but was supposed to reinstall it. And before it was over with, it was a duct system and new equipment and everything in that system. So, man, huge shout out to Luke for thinking outside the box, just saying, I'm going to go do something,
Think about that, guys. Real quick, for those of you that are dealing with schedules that are not completely full. What Luke did is he called around to his installers and said, hey, what jobs are going in today? Because in the mastermind, we teach guys how to go out on installs and get another $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 in work. So he did exactly that, went out and found out that they're in a bad situation, ended up with $30,000 in equipment sold. 30 grand.
Right. And really the point is, he didn't wait for his company to tell him to go. He just called his installers or they called him, because there's good open lines of communication. And, what are you doing, or what's going on out there? And are they getting, was there something that sparked the conversation? And he just says, okay, I'll go out there. Not, I'll look for an excuse not to go out there. Not, I'll wait till the office tells me it's okay to go out there. I don't think there's any offices. There's always those weird 1 or 2%ers, but I don't think there's any office or boss that's going to be mad at you to go out and add $10, $20, $30,000 on an install that you thought that's all they would do anyway. So I don't think there'll be a boss that would be upset with you for just showing up, taking a bottle of water, a Gatorade, have a short conversation with your installers, and then just introduce yourself and see where it goes. Sometimes the customer will just come out and meet you in the garage or in the area that the guys are working, and the conversation just starts from there, especially with questions, easy questions, not quizzing the customer and not making them feel like they're being interrogated. Just easy, soft questions that get it started. Huge shout out to Luke.
We had like 4 stories like that this morning. So there was Luke had a story like that. Dustin went and took his kids. Dustin did $67,000 last week, and only 7,000 of it was calls from his company. He took his kids and went out and hung about 200 door hangers. Ended up with 3 maintenance calls off of it and 3 system sales to the tune of $60K. Right?
Wow.
So that's a phenomenal result. You guys are out there saying that business is not good right now, but remember, like Zig Ziglar said, that business is only ever good or bad between your ears, right? It's never good or bad out there. It's only good or bad between your ears. Another perfect example would be Eric. Eric didn't have any calls on the board. And Eric, the
What a
company had
story.
recently got a 1-star review from a company that did not buy from them. Well, Eric decided he didn't have anything better to do, so Eric got in his truck, drove out to the customer's house. Before he could get to the door, the customer had met him outside and was cussing at him. Who the F are you? What the F are you doing here? And Eric took that 1-star review. He listened to the client. He used the techniques and the tactics and the skills that he's picked up from Lead Ninja. And 2 hours later, Eric's walking out with a $16,800 sale and a reversed 1-star review to a 5-star review.
Wow. That was a
Again,
story. It takes a lot of guts to knock on a door. It takes a lot of guts to hang a door hanger sometimes. You feel uncomfortable. It takes a little more guts to knock on a door. But it takes a lot more guts to go to a house, knock on a door, so to speak, of somebody who has openly said they're mad at you or left
and
you a
that
bad
attacks you
review,
when you get there.
and then attacks you at the door. That is guts. And Eric's a beast. I don't want that to sound the wrong way, but he's just so soft, so easygoing. You don't ever rile him up. I can't see him getting mad. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny. And he took it. So huge shout out to Eric. That's a lesson for us all right there, that there is opportunity even in bad reviews. Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
Who would have thought there's an opportunity in bad reviews? Just the opportunity to fix it for your company is huge. And then
Oh
turn
my
around
gosh.
and the customer pay you money and fix it at the same time. That's an incredible. And he got
Eric called.
certified through the Lead Ninja process, and that's really the big part of the story. You hear him tell it, he was just using the Lead Ninja scripts.
Yeah. And then the last guy that ended up with a massive success, even though it's super slow, was Blake. His wife, they had like an ice storm, and his wife's like, "You don't even need to be going out in this. Nobody's going to buy anything today, anyways." And he turned like a $400 repair
Plug.
into into $32,000. 32 grand. So Don, we're talking about how does all this happen? And the first thing that I want to share with you guys is if you want these kinds of results, you're going to want to shoot me a text. All right. Shoot me a text and just get more information about getting trained. All right.
Yeah.
My cell number is right on the screen. For those of you listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, shoot me a text 239-848-6533. Just 239-848-6533. How long are you going to suffer with missed sales? How long are you going to suffer with these? I want to think about it. I got to talk to my wife. Your price is too high. Objections. I can get one cheaper. Guys, it is. You can overcome all of this, and in a matter of 60 to 90 days, you could have a completely new life.
You know, I trained year round every day of the week. We were, 5-day a week. It was a rare exception for me, for our company, not to train. However, that being said, we trained what felt like twice as much, 50% as much during the off season, if we can. I was in Alabama, so January, February are the 2 hardest months of the year, in my opinion. It's not really obviously cold enough to be demand, although it's been a cold winter. Obviously, it's a whole lot colder now than we've had in years past, but typically not cold enough to just bring a flood of no heat calls into your company, and certainly not warm enough in the afternoon for people to ever see their air conditioner cycle on where they might have an issue with it. So January and February were the toughest 2 months. So in my philosophy was, we're going to train twice as much. We have the extra time right now. Most of you guys have the extra time. I kind of get that during the summer when you're running 80 hours a week, the rest of your time is kind of burn out. You can get a little burnout. It's hard to train during that time. You should still do 15 minutes a day, even in those tough weeks. But now's the time to really double dedicate to your career, double dedicate to your sales process, double the efforts. And for the next 60 days, you could get trained with Lead Ninja. You could certainly get trained and be certified in the Lead Ninja sales process in 60 days. It's very much a possibility. We support you to go as fast as you want, but 60 days is a wonderful time frame. And look what'll be here in 60 days. It'll be spring for a lot of places, and you're
Better prepared
certified
now.
and better prepared, and not just wait till, okay, now the calls come in. Now I'll think about how do I talk about this. But today we want to talk about the power of the prioritized list, right? And what's your thoughts or on that, Gene? I mean, we've been doing a lot of training lately.
Well, the question really is, how do these guys keep getting these 30 and 40 and $50,000 tickets? That's really what everybody wants to know. And there's a lot of different secrets, if you will. But first and foremost, you've actually got to offer the stuff, right? Number one, when you're quoting a heating and air conditioning system, why wouldn't you quote the most expensive one that you have, even if you don't expect the client to buy it? You want to give them something to say no to. So that would be a start. Let's start from the top and go down. What were you going to say, Don?
Well, even if I don't love the word offer. Even if you don't offer it, you have to let the customers know all the work that you do that their house could benefit from. If your company does plumbing and water heaters and water filtration, even though you're an HVAC guy, it's still our first obligation is to let the customers know all the work that we do. And that may very well include how to have a clean, dust-free house, how to combat the allergies before spring gets here, how to never have them again, or at least when you're in your house, cut the odds down so that you're not dealing with allergies. Our job is to let them know everything that we could do at that house that it would benefit from. Their job's to let us know if they want us to do it, and it's perfectly acceptable for them to say no. It is okay. That's the big part of people miss in sales, is that if they don't get everything they present, they almost act mad or act like the customers. I hate to use bad words, but they act like the customer's dumb for not buying.
Is that a bad word?
There's stupid people out there. They act like it was just. You know what? We do run across 1 or 2% of the population that are illogical, right? We have to just realize we can't worry about those guys. But 98% of the people you talk to are going to appreciate you letting them know everything they do, and that it's okay. You don't hate them and you don't kick their dog just because they said no or not right now. It's okay to do that. The list is an extremely easy way to let them know everything we do. Put it on the list.
So, and what Don's talking about here, when we say prioritize list, if you're on a service call or something like, let's say, you're a plumber and you're going out there to drain somebody's water heater, and you find some things, you find something that's leaking underneath one of the sinks when you go to do your inspection. We would consider that something that would be mandatory. It needs to be fixed, because if it doesn't get fixed, it's going to cause more damage underneath that cabinet, yes or no? And so that would be in our mandatory column. We might see that the water heater is getting up in age, but doesn't necessarily need to be replaced right now. But we feel like maybe in a year or two, they're going to be looking at replacing that. That would go into a near future category, right? And hell, if it's a tank style water heater, I might put an upgrade to tankless down in the nice to have category. Right.
Absolutely.
So that's what Don's talking about when we're talking about a prioritized list. There are things that you're going to find when you do your full inspection that you would consider mandatory. And let's just say that something that's mandatory would be something that they're paying for, whether they get it or not, or something that's going to cause permanent and irreversible damage to their system or to the house. Right. Those would be mandatory things.
Right.
What are some other examples of something that might be mandatory?
Well, you have to disconnect the money to the word mandatory, because a lot of people be like,
right,
it's not it because it costs $300. then these people wouldn't want it. So I don't want to call that mandatory. The money is not. And what your company decides to charge for an item, most of us techs, don't get to make that decision. Most of the techs out there just have to charge the price the company sets. So you can't be embarrassed of your price. You have to just say the item gets on the list. We price it just in case they want to move forward. They know what it's going to cost, but really the list is about the words, the stuff on the list. And
Right.
yeah, obviously we know for HVAC guys, we're talking about surge protectors. How many times have you installed a surge protector this week? Should be every time you touch a system, because there's not many surge protectors on HVAC equipment right now. But yet we get thousands and thousands of lightning strikes a year that do damage to systems.
Let's talk about that money thing that you were talking about, Don, because I think it's such a great point. Because I've talked to technicians. Let's give an HVAC example. I've talked to technicians before where I go out and I got a 50 microfarad capacitor that's only pumping out 40. Now we know that that's below the minimum standard, and that it's causing permanent and irreversible damage to the system. But I'll say to the technician, that part is below what the manufacturer says that it needs to be. So is that mandatory or something that'll need to be done in the near future? And they'll go, well, nothing is mandatory. I go, what do you mean? Well, the client doesn't have to spend any money. Again, separate the money from it. Don't worry about the money. Just put the things down that you feel are mandatory and call them mandatory. It doesn't mean that you're going to take the client's head and smash it off at their coffee table if they don't buy.
Yeah, or say
Right.
bad things about them or judge them. It's okay to get a no answer.
I remember Logan Altland. I met him in the first couple of months in his electrical career, and he had a big problem with that word mandatory. And we ended up working through it to where he started to feel okay about saying it. And in his first year as an electrician, doing inspections and sales and stuff, he was on track to do $3 million in sales as an electrician.
Wow.
Right. So guys, don't get caught up in the words. If you had your car and you took it into the auto mechanic and he noticed that you had steel belts that were coming through your tires that you didn't notice, and he said, hey, listen, it's mandatory that you replace these tires. You're driving around on 4 Maypops. They may pop, they may not, right? You wouldn't get all upset about it. No. When I went into the dentist yesterday and they told me that I had $4,200 worth of work that needed to be done, and $1,500 of it needed to be done today. They didn't get all like sissified on me when they told me that this is the least amount of money you can spend a day, right? So, and guys, is there a good reason other than money that everybody shouldn't have a generator or a tankless water heater or a water filtration system or a HEPA filtration system? Is there a good reason other than money? And why are you making these decisions for your clients? Why don't you let them make the decisions? Just put it on the list and you'll be surprised. A lot of them will ask you about them. And next thing you know, they'll be like, I think I really would like that.
Yes. You'd be wonderfully surprised sometimes. And it's okay for them to get 1 or 2 items off the list, probably the top 1 or 2 items, because if it's a priority and you kind of explain it in that way, they'll see the top items as the highest priority. And you know what? All it does is create that in 6 months, if this was a maintenance customer, and everywhere you go, you should be leaving with a maintenance plan. That is your future work going for you. So everywhere you go, you should be getting a maintenance plan. And what you'll find is that in 6 months, the stuff that's lower in the list will just kind of move up. And it'll be time for it, right? The things that could be put off until later, well, later has shown up, right? It's later. So those items move up the list, because we often get people say, well, they put it on the list last time, or that somebody mentioned it last time and they didn't want to buy it. So I'm not going to mention it now. I'll make them mad. Yeah. It's the exact opposite. If you mention it once and they don't buy it, you have to mention it every time from this point forward, or else they're going to think, well, that other guy and this guy have different opinions or different answer, or they're going to go to the worst side and go, one of the guys lying to me, right?
And persistence wears down resistance too.
Yeah. And the power of the list, there are a lot of software out there that'll tell you, hey, you can sell in our system, you'll sell more. And old school is still the best for me. And again, old school, I started a company 20 something years ago, and it was paper based, right? You didn't have iPads 20 years ago. So you did invoices, you did checklists, you did everything paper based.
Right.
We actually had our tech pack, as it was called. It was a clear plastic folder, kind of sealed. All our paperwork for that call went in it. When you collected the check, it went down in that folder, and then you brought it back and got new ones. And then the office would clean those out, put fresh paperwork in it, and out to the field it went. Tech packs, you know, that was called tech packs. They got busy running a $10 million company on tech packs. Oh, they were working their butts off, keeping up with how many, 25 texts, 3-4 calls a day, having to make, again, 50 to 75. I think the most we ever ran in a day is like 110 calls in a day as a company. That's a lot of tech packs they had to build. There were people behind the scenes working their tails off. So I'll give a shout out to Tan if she listens to this. She was one of the most hardest working ladies I've ever had in my office. I'm proud of her. Love her. Just absolutely respect her totally. She's a wonderful employee, wonderful person. So she was working her tail off for those tech packs. But old school is still good. Write it down. Feels like you're doing people a favor, or you're doing something special for them, because nobody else is doing it anymore, right? So if you'll take out a pencil, and we say a pencil, so in case you make a mistake, you can erase it and fix it. Nobody wants to see you block out a big blob of stuff because you can't spell a word, or you mispriced it. So write it down on a piece of paper with a pencil, erase your mistakes, make it look good, and use that as a selling tool. And it really is a huge part of the selling tool process. Just writing it on a piece of paper activates one of the laws of persuasion from Dr. Robert Cialdini. It's basically the law of reciprocation now. You're doing them a favor by writing stuff down. They'll do you a favor. And really the favor I say we ask for is just listen, right? Just listen. That's all we ask our customers. If they'll listen, then more than likely they will come to their own conclusion that something needs to be done. Gene?
So guys, if you want to get a little bit more detail on how to create a prioritized list, there's 2 ways that you can do that. So the first way would be for you to head on over to my YouTube page and just search for how to create a prioritized list. All right, there's like a 6-minute video in there that we compressed all of the information into that 6 minutes to kind of give you a high level overview. Second way, and the way that you'll probably prefer, is to come out to our next live event. All right, that's going to be April 5th and 6th. It's in Fort Myers, Florida, at the Regal Cinemas. And guys, this is the cheapest that you have ever been able to come out and see us before. Tickets have been $64.97. That's $6,497 to come out and see us in the past. You're going to be able to get into this event for as little as, well, tickets start out at $15,000, but general admission tickets are actually only $19.97, guys. $2K. You can send 3 people for the cost that you used to be able to send 1. All right. We're going to be talking about indoor air quality, water treatment, electrical stuff. We're going to be selling all of those trades. So if you're in any one of those trades or any of the other skilled trades, come on out to the event. There's never been a cheaper or better time to do it. And it's right as spring is hitting. So you guys want to be armed for bear going into spring and summer and have the absolute best 2nd and 3rd quarters that you've ever had. Get your butts out to Fort Myers. If you want more information on that, I was going to say put mansion because I've got one of those buttons, but just put April. Just put the word April in the comments, and I'll have somebody shoot you over the link so that you can check out all of the different packages. And if you want to spend some personal time with me, there is a package, very limited number of seats for this one, but we are looking at doing a deep sea fishing trip on Monday. 5th and the 6th is a Saturday and a Sunday. So you guys don't have to worry about being gone during the week or missing any sort of work. We're going to get this done in 2 days on the weekend. If you want to stay, you can stay Monday, and we'll go out in the Gulf of Mexico and go hit some shipwrecks and pull up some big ass grouper. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that
and then
like
also, if you guys cannot make it for some reason, you've already got plans for the 5th and the 6th, you want to comment mastermind down below. Comment mastermind, and we'll get you hooked up with our twice a week live training, our full coaching program, and we will show you in 60 days how you can double or more your sales. It's not a joke. It's totally legit, and we've got a 30-day action-based money-back guarantee on that program. So put mastermind down in the comments.
I would tell you, if you get in the mastermind, dedicate to the 4 levels of certification, getting through it, you can make the extra income to pay for your April trip between now and obviously the trip, probably even between now and the end of March. But if you join the mastermind, dedicate to the process, start learning, do the certification steps, your income will grow enough to pay for your trip. Now you're thinking, well, do I really want to sell more just to give it all to you guys? But you'll then get to carry that knowledge for the rest of your life. That's what's cool about this training. It's not just you're going to do more for 30 days or 60 days. You will be able to do bigger and bigger numbers. I loved Blake's comment that every month since he left the last event the event he was at, his revenue has doubled. And you think, well, gosh, he must have started low. And now he started right at the average for the electricians at his company. And then his revenue doubled, and it doubled, and it doubled. I think this is the 4th month in a row that his revenue has been double the month before. Will it continue forever? I don't know. We'll have to take our own limitations off of our minds to see. But that's impressive that what he's doing. He's pacing for that $3 million electrician that you talked about, and he's doing the work, which is quite incredible. I liked his comment today that his boss says you got to quit selling so much because we can't get to all the calls that we have because we're doing all the work that you
figure it out.
I think that's a good problem. Hire some more people, and let's keep moving. So it's been good chatting with you, Gene. I know we've covered this a little bit, but if there's any comments about the list or mastermind, just put it down in the comments and someone will get with you to have a little conversation about it.
Remember to come see us in April, guys. Listen, if you want to become a multi-millionaire, those are the people that I'm looking for right now. I'm not looking for people who just want to make $100K a year. I'm looking for people that want to go to 400 or 500K a year or $1 million a year in personal income. If you want to become a personal multi-millionaire, put April down in the comments and I'll have somebody reach out to you and get you the information about the class. Don, thanks for joining us today. Look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Well, I won't be here on Thursday, but maybe we'll still figure out how to do a podcast.
See you on the next cast, and good luck and have a fun day. You guys.
Thanks, man. Bye.